Well, you want to play these games? I'm right here in Miami. I'm right here in Miami. Come get me, arrest me, perp walk me, put me on the news, tell everyone I'm a human trafficker. You think I'm not versed? You think I'm not ready? I'm a Navy SEAL in this shit. Come get me, raid my house, take my stuff. You think I sleep with a full phone full of evidence? You think I don't wipe my phone every night? You think I'm dumb? Come get me, arrest me. Let's do this all over again. It used to be a country. Now it's charged by Keir Starmer, some fucking wanker who keeps issuing Interpol warrants for me. We need to get Andrew Tate, Interpol. Bro, chill out. I'm in Beverly Hills. Come get me. I'm not hard to find. I post my location on Twitter, and I'm 6'3", walking around Beverly Hills with a crowd of adoring fans. Come get me.
Andrew Tate looked directly into a camera in early 2025 and told the world he was completely untouchable. Not in a subtle way, in a come and arrest me way, with specific names, specific locations, and a specific level of arrogance that most people only reach right before something goes very wrong. And then something went very wrong. The UK extradition became real. Romanian authorities started moving. The legal walls that Tate had spent years mocking started closing in from multiple directions at once. And instead of going quiet, he kept talking, kept posting, kept making moves that his own supporters couldn't fully explain away. At some point, the downfall stops being about the original charges and starts being about every decision made after them. That's where this story gets genuinely interesting. Because Tate's situation right now isn't just a legal problem. It's a masterclass in how someone can take a bad situation and make it measurably worse, step by step, in real time, on camera, for the entire internet to watch. Every press conference that backfires, every alliance that turns out to be less solid than advertised, every moment of fake confidence that gets tested by actual consequences.
And myself, I'm in a lot of trouble with many charges from the British government for my speech, saying the things I say are completely unacceptable. But primarily, my message is challenging the blanket authority and the blanket narratives which are pushed by our institutions. And now that we see our institutions are completely corrupted by billionaire people, now we see our institutions have been completely overrun and they're operating in secret rooms and subverting the rule of law. I think that makes it even more important that people like myself continue to challenge authority and demand answers and demand transparency and not believe official narratives.
Most people facing serious criminal exposure go quiet. They let lawyers talk. They stop giving interviews. They absolutely do not post their location online while daring governments to act on active warrants. Tate did the opposite, repeatedly. What's fascinating isn't just that he made bad decisions, it's why he made them, what he thought was protecting him, and how that protection turned out to be a lot shakier than he ever admitted publicly. There's a pattern here that goes back further than most people realize, and it connects his social media behavior, his political alignments, his legal strategy, and his personal brand into one continuous thread.
My message to the UK government is I'm not afraid of you. And I'm not afraid of the UK lawyers, I'm not afraid of the UK judge, I'm not afraid of any of it because I've done nothing wrong. And everybody knows I've done nothing wrong. And putting me in jail doesn't prove I've done anything wrong. And satisfying a few internet masturbating leftist haters doesn't prove I've done anything wrong. I know I've done nothing wrong. God knows I've done nothing wrong. So if I get free from here to avoid the Wizz Air flight, which would actually bother me, unlike jail, I will take my own private jet and I will fly directly into London. I'll walk into Scotland Yard and say, hello, motherfuckers, charge me or get fucked. Because I'm not living with this shit over my head for the rest of my life. And I'm not afraid of any of them.
This is the story of how Andrew Tate looked at a situation that was already serious and kept finding new ways to make it worse. To understand where the confidence came from, you have to go back to the moment Tate genuinely believed he had powerful people in his corner. After months of legal battles in Romania, the travel ban that had kept both brothers grounded suddenly got lifted. No clear public explanation. No official statement that spelled out why. Just a quiet shift from the highest levels of Romanian government, and suddenly Andrew and Tristan Tate could move again. That kind of thing doesn't happen by accident, and Tate knew it. He started dropping hints almost immediately, vague references to people in high places, suggestions that the right conversations had happened with the right people. He wasn't naming names directly, but the implication was obvious to anyone paying attention. He believed someone with serious political weight had gone to bat for him, and that belief changed how he carried himself in every interview and every post from that point forward.
This is just the tip of the iceberg. What we know is going to be a fraction of what actually took place. And if I find it absolutely disgusting, and I don't want to make this about me, that they've managed to do so much damage to my brother and I with no evidence, while sitting on such a huge pile of evidence for some of the most important people on the planet.
Investigative reporting from the New York Times later added a layer of detail that made the whole thing harder to dismiss. Richard Grinnell, a special envoy with direct access to the current administration, reportedly had at least 2 separate conversations with Romanian officials around the time the travel ban was lifted. Within days of the second conversation, Romanian prosecutors were reportedly instructed to soften their position. Romanian officials denied any pressure was applied, but the timing alone raised serious questions that didn't go away. The Financial Times picked up a similar thread independently. 2 separate newsrooms, 2 separate investigations, landing on overlapping conclusions. That's not nothing. But here's where Tate's thinking started breaking down. Knowing that someone may have helped you and assuming that help comes with permanent protection are 2 completely different things. Political favors have limits. Quiet conversations between officials don't make criminal charges disappear. They might buy time, but they don't buy immunity. Tate acted like they did, and that assumption became the foundation for every bad decision that followed.
If you want to charge me, I'll see you in court. And if you want to put me in jail, that's fine. Because I know I've done nothing wrong, and every free-thinking person on the planet knows I've done nothing wrong. So I'm really not afraid of these people. So I would go straight to England to squash that. And when all of that's done, I'm going to move back to the greatest country on earth, USA, because the USA is finally back after 4 long years, in fact, maybe a little bit longer, it felt like, of hell, where America was living under absolute tyranny.
The press conferences were where it really started unraveling in public. Tate had always been good at controlling his image through direct-to-camera content, his own platforms, his own framing, his own rules. But when he stepped into actual press settings with real journalists asking real follow-up questions, the cracks started showing fast. Reporters weren't there to give him a platform. They were there to push back, and he wasn't nearly as prepared for that as he thought he was. When asked directly whether the administration had actually intervened on his behalf, Tate couldn't land a clean answer. The best he could offer was something along the lines of, "I would like to think so," and "I'd like to be optimistic." Those aren't the words of someone with confirmed backing. Those are the words of someone who talked himself into believing something and never actually verified it. And saying that out loud, on camera, in front of journalists, handed his critics exactly what they needed. It got more uncomfortable from there. Because even as the extradition process to the UK moved forward, Tate kept performing confidence he didn't have the receipts for. He was still doing interviews, still making declarations, still presenting himself as someone who had already won a game that hadn't finished yet.
I don't care. I'm an American, and I don't owe him shit. And when DeSantis stands up and apologizes to me, when the AG apologizes to me, I'll consider it. And Byron Donalds is a punk too, because he sold out and went on the news and started talking shit, calling me a human trafficker. I've never been convicted. The point of America, in general, the point of democracy is innocent until proven guilty. If they get quizzed about me, if they stand up on the news and they say, "What do you think of Andrew Tate?" they have a very easy answer. We live in a democracy. It's innocent until proven guilty. I don't know the specifics of his case. What I know is he is not convicted. They don't have to sell out like punks. They don't have to start saying, "I'm not welcome here." If the senator or the governor tells me I'm not welcome here, you know what? Then keep it.
Tate went after UK officials by name on social media, mocking the legal process openly while it was actively moving against him. He told reporters he wasn't afraid of UK judges or UK lawyers, and he said it with the kind of certainty that only makes sense if you genuinely believe you're protected from the outcome. Publicly insulting the legal system that's processing your extradition isn't a power move. It's a gift to prosecutors building a narrative about your attitude toward accountability. The audience loved it, the algorithm rewarded it, and legally, it was a disaster in slow motion that anyone paying attention could see coming. And then came the plot twist that even Tate's harshest critics didn't fully see coming. The same political world that Tate had been quietly leaning on for protection started creating distance, not loudly, not with dramatic public statements. Just the kind of slow, deliberate backing away that people in power do when an association starts costing more than it's worth. When reporters went directly to the source and asked whether the administration had any involvement in Tate's situation, the answer wasn't a defense. It wasn't a confirmation of loyalty. It was a flat denial of any knowledge at all. That single answer collapsed the entire foundation Tate had been building on. Because if the protection was real, the denial wouldn't come that fast or that clean. And if the protection was just assumed, then every bold move Tate made based on that assumption was built on nothing. Every taunting post, every press conference declaration, every moment he publicly dared governments to act while privately believing someone upstairs had his back. All of it suddenly looked very different.
So this is a political chop-up job. This is a political kidnapping. They want to grab Andrew and Tristan, get them out of an American jurisdiction into England and not Romania, because they're being heard fairly over there now, to make sure that the truth never sees the light of day. So they're repackaging the arguments, and now they're adding sexual images of a minor and all this salacious and defamatory stuff, because these are the worst and most horrible things that you could ever say about a man. Sexual assault is the worst, but now you want to equivocate him to Epstein? That is the play here.
Tristan wasn't helping the situation either. In interviews around the same period, he was describing warm receptions from law enforcement, talking about handshakes and photos with the very system that was processing their extradition. It came across as either genuine confusion about how serious things were, or a performance of calm that neither brother actually felt. Neither option looked good from the outside.
So all of a sudden, this is here now. Most people are going, yo, they're going way above and beyond to smear these guys, to lock them up. And this is the plan. They get them to the United Kingdom. They threaten them with 100 years in jail, or they say you can have a plea offer for maybe 2 to 5. You'll be out in 1.5 years or 2 years. If they take that deal, they lose all their wealth, they lose their reputation, and by the way, the allegations never have to get proven in court because they admit that they're guilty.
What makes this chapter of the story so hard to look away from is the gap between the public image and the private reality. Publicly, both brothers were presenting a unified front of total confidence. Privately, based on everything that leaked out through reporting and their own inconsistent answers, neither of them seemed to have a clear read on where they actually stood. That gap kept growing. And the wider it got, the more desperate the public performances started to feel, even when they were dressed up as strength. The legal picture itself kept getting messier the longer this played out. The UK charges didn't shrink while Tate was busy performing untouchability online. They sat there, growing heavier with each passing month, attached to an extradition process that moves on its own timeline, regardless of how many press conferences happen around it. Romanian authorities weren't standing still either. The original charges that had kept the brothers in legal limbo for years hadn't gone away just because the travel ban lifted. They just got deprioritized long enough for everyone to catch their breath, and then they started moving again. What Tate never seemed to fully account for is that legal systems are slow, but they don't forget. Every delay, every political conversation, every quiet favor buys time. It doesn't buy resolution, and time has a way of running out faster than expected when multiple jurisdictions are pulling in the same direction. His online behavior during this stretch made things actively harder for his own legal team. Attorneys defending someone on serious charges need their client to stop creating new evidence of their attitude toward the law. Every mocking post, every taunt aimed at prosecutors or judges, every moment of performed arrogance gets screenshotted, time-stamped, and filed away. Tate wasn't just making things harder in public. He was handing over material that a courtroom could use to paint a very specific picture of who he is and how seriously he takes accountability. His supporters kept framing all of it as chess, every provocative statement repackaged as a calculated move, every setback reframed as part of a longer game that only Tate could see clearly. But there's a point where that framing stops being convincing even to the people doing it, and the comments sections and forums where his base lives started showing cracks in that confidence too. The questions got harder, the defenses got thinner, and the gap between the brand and the reality kept stretching in ways that were becoming impossible to paper over. Andrew Tate spent years building a brand around the idea that he operates on a different level than everyone else, that the rules bending around him wasn't luck, it was proof of concept, that the attacks were validation, that every charge, every headline, Every government action was just more evidence that he was too big to actually fall. But that's not what this story shows. What this story shows is someone who got a small window of political breathing room, mistook it for permanent shelter, and then made decision after decision that narrowed his options while widening his exposure. The confidence wasn't fake exactly. It was just built on assumptions that nobody ever verified, and assumptions have a way of failing at the worst possible moment. The most expensive mistake wasn't the legal situation itself. It was refusing to treat it seriously while the clock kept running. Where this goes next is genuinely hard to predict, and that's what makes it worth watching. Because Andrew Tate's story isn't over. It's just entering the part where consequences start catching up to the narrative. If you want to stay on top of stories like this one, hit subscribe and drop a comment below with your take on where this whole thing ends up. Like the video if you stayed till the end. See you in the next one.
There is going to be a massive lawsuit at the end of this year. There is going to be a massive civil lawsuit at the end of this year in an American court where I, Tristan Tate, am no longer a defendant for doing something wrong. I'm the plaintiff. And some of the people who helped do this to me will be the defendants. I've been working on it for many, many long months now. I've been mentally preparing for it for many years. And I can't say too much about it, but I can tell all of you to keep your eyes and ears very wide open to any litigations I'm involved in, because there will come a time very soon when the stand is going to be packed full of people who helped do this to me. And I will be standing there as the plaintiff in total freedom.
I'm not a beg, I'm not desperate, and I don't give a shit if Ron DeSantis likes how I live or not. To be honest, I don't care. I'm an American citizen. I came here. I've been convicted of no crimes, and for the same reason you won't live in Cali or Mamdami's New York, I can't live here until these clowns apologize to me.